Newsies stop the world. Now there's a headline even Elma could sell.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the best stage musical adaptations of teen movies and documentaries.
Big fun, big fun, big fun. I'm actually having big fun.
Number 10, Carrie.
Hey, Carrie, let's think about this now. I mean, it might be terrific. You might have a really good time.
Look, hear us out. Stephen King's story about a teen girl with telekinetic powers taking revenge on her classmates doesn't exactly sound like a musical. Critics of the original Broadway production agreed. It was a tremendous and notorious flop. However, a cult following has grown around the musical, which has some intense emotions, strong ballads, and truly spectacular moments worthy of the great actors who have performed it.
Mama, I was so scared, and they all stared. Then I started crying, thought I was dying.
It doesn't totally gel together, even in its best restagings. Still, there's something at its core that makes people want to see if it can work as a show the way it did as a teen flick.
Oh, my life is gonna take flight. Can't wait till Saturday night.
Number 9, Crybaby.
Well, one for all and all for one. And all we want is to have some fun.
John Waters' 1990 original was one of the movies that brought Johnny Depp to the fore of young Hollywood. Drawing on cheesy 1950s teen movies, Waters' twisted but ultimately good-hearted musical flick about a squeaky clean teen and a leather-clad bad boy made it to Broadway in 2008.
Gonna make a new start. I've escaped to find my darling.
I've paroled him from my heart.
Despite its short run and mediocre reviews, the show was nominated for several Tonys and was said to be as, quote, well-crafted as it was incredibly funny. Many were most bowled over by its incredible dance scenes. It may not have been as successful as another John Waters adaptation, more on that later, but Crybaby still has plenty of fans.
We're jumping at the bits, and the way we're gonna win until everyone's a lit.
Number 8, Sing Street.
Are you ready? This could be Oliver's first and last gig, man. You ready to do it?
Let's go.
Writer-director John Carney's 2007 movie Once ended up receiving a highly awarded Broadway adaptation in 2012. His 2016 coming-of-age movie musical Sing Street has the potential to follow in its footsteps.
I'll be in your band. I'll play guitar. And I'll help write songs.
Following an Irish teen's attempts to woo his crush by forming a band, it's a charming story with a great 80s new wave-inspired soundtrack. The stage version got pretty good reviews with its 2019 production, and even better ones for its 2022 Boston run. However, its Broadway debut in March 2020 was circumvented by the COVID shutdowns. Whenever it officially comes to Broadway, it's sure to find more fans and more success.
Up where the world won't let us down. La, 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 la.
Number 7, everybody's talking about Jamie.
I've wanted this day for so long. Now I'm doing this for me before I even get out to face the critics.
Jamie Campbell made a splash in the BBC documentary Jamie, Drag Queen at 16, which follows him as he endeavors to become a drag queen. It's a movie brimming with more joy than you usually see in fictional stories about queer youth, let alone real ones. When the musical premiered on the West End in 2017, it was a smash.
Out of the darkness, into the spotlight, there is a new star, shining so bright.
Effervescent and spirited, the show was nominated for several awards, and it's been toured and mounted in several different countries. Amazon Prime Video even released a well-received film adaptation in 2021, bringing its laughs and themes of acceptance and strength to audiences everywhere.
And when you're old like 32, you'll all remember Jamie New, the kid who learns to fly, 'cause I'm gonna kiss the sun.
Number 6, Bring It On the Musical.
You want to make it right? Then when you go to nationals, bring it.
Here's another movie you wouldn't think would make a great musical, but actually does. Bring It On seemed somewhat revolutionary when it was released, chronicling the rivalry between two cheerleading squads ahead of a big competition. Setting its high-flying cheerleading routines and themes of racism to music was a big task. Bring It On the Musical toured the US before enjoying a successful limited run on Broadway.
Who's in? I'm in. 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 I'm in.
Needless to say, the dance numbers were the main event. The show was also a groundbreaker in terms of representation, as La Cienega is widely cited as the first transgender high school character in a Broadway musical.
Paparazzi always come around. I know, and it doesn't matter what we pay this for. Everything we get is gonna be top drawer.
Number 5. Mean Girls.
Does it bother you that they still use your original choreography?
Shut up.
If you're gonna tackle a movie that's as beloved as this one, you better bring something to the table. Fortunately, original screenwriter Tina Fey returned to write the show's script, preserving its unique and iconic brand of humor. With songs by Fey's husband, composer Jeff Richmond, and Legally Blonde lyricist Nell Benjamin, Mean Girls is a faithful adaptation of the 2014 comedy.
And I am a massive deal. Fear me, love me, stand and stare.
The Plastics of North Shore High School made their Broadway debut in 2018 to surprisingly good reviews. Critics generally thought the show was a worthy successor to the original movie, capturing its humor, heart, and heft. Its successful Tony-nominated production would lead to a 2024 film adaptation.
Get in, loser.
Number 4. Heathers the Musical.
Veronica, you look like hell. Yeah, I just got back.
In 1988, Winona Ryder starred in this controversial and highly quotable teen flick about a girl who feels trapped in a clique of popular girls. Her new boyfriend's solution to her problem leads to a series of unexpected deaths and even more shocking consequences. The musical, which premiered off-Broadway in 2014, maintains the movie's satirical and darkly funny look at the savage and merciless social hierarchies of high school.
That freak's not your friend, I can tell in the end. If she had your shot, she would leave you to rot.
Despite its bleak subject matter, Heathers is a rip-roaring good time with plenty of silliness and clever lyrics to keep you hooked. It may not be for everyone, but you can't say it isn't a wild ride.
Brand new day, now we're finally free. Free to worship me, 'cause I never shut up. Shut up.
Number 3. Newsies the Musical.
Now is the time to seize the day.
Now is the time to seize the day.
Send out the call and join the fray.
Send out the call and join the fray.
Set during the real-life newsboy strike of 1899, Disney's original movie was actually a failure at the box office. This didn't stop Alan Menken, Jack Feldman, and Harvey Fierstein from resurrecting it for Broadway. The result was a musical sensation.
Look at me, I'm the king of New York. Wait and see, this is gonna make both the Dollettes pee in their pants.
While retaining certain tunes from the movie, the stage musical made significant changes, removing scenes, songs, and characters to make way for new ones. It paid off, as the ensemble of newsboys in caps sang and danced their way into musical history. The original Broadway production netted several Tony nominations and clinched 2 for Best Choreography and Best Original Score.
And the world will know that we played here.
Number 2. Billy Elliot the Musical.
Just there. Flying. Like a bird. Like electricity.
The heartfelt coming-of-age film Billy Elliot finds a boy exploring his love of ballet. An unexpected success at the box office, audiences were charmed by Billy's passion for dance, even if it meant defying his father. The premise feels like it almost cries out for a musical adaptation. One would make its West End premiere just a few short years after the movie's 2000 release.
And suddenly, I'm flying, flying like a bird, like electricity. Electricity.
With music from none other than Elton John, with lyricist Lee Hall, the show eventually found its way to great success in America as well. A barn burner of a musical, Billy Elliot the Musical is a showcase of young talent that has to be seen to be believed. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Hairspray.
Tracy Turnblad, you are the queen of the hop tonight. Listen, we're holding auditions for the council tomorrow. You ought to come down and strut your stuff.
Oh,
corny. Do you really think I'm good enough?
John Waters' 1988 movie may have been his most mainstream project to date, but his story about Tracy Turnblad had to have its edges softened before hitting Broadway. It follows the irrepressibly optimistic Tracy as she lands a spot on a teen dance show and ends up fighting for racial integration in 1960s Baltimore. When it comes to this show, upbeat is an understatement. The songs are unforgettable, mixing musical theater pep with pop-friendly catchiness. Outfitted with the costumes and hairdos of the period, this Best Musical Tony winner is designed for maximum joy. Which teen movie do you think would make a great musical? Tell us in the comments.
Let's hear it. Do you want to vote? Yeah! Then demand a vote.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.